What did you think about how DeSantis, I mean, this is a big topic too, how like, I guess DeSantis versus the former president, like what did you think about what he said?
Dude, I thought like, again, I saw the flip-flop on Ukraine where it was like he tried sort of taking the Trump approach, like maybe war bad, and then like the donors. Dude, there's a difference.
So what did he say? He was against it first?
He was against it. He sort of took a weak Trump stance on it, you know? And then he was like, well, we must stop it. Putin is an evil dictator. You know, it's like, holy shit, your donors got to you. Like, and that's the difference. Like, you know, that's what's good about Trump. And perhaps that's what's good about even if Trump, you know, in 24, Trump is like a lame duck, can just go in and break all that shit up. You're not trying to get reelected again. You can just do everything that you need to do. And that's the difference, sort of being beholden to your donors, being beholden to the establishment class, you know, the Paul Ryans, like, this is great. Like, he literally was like, well, I'm not so worried about, that's not a big concern. You mean the weaponization of our government against its citizens on stuff that literally every person who's looking at it objectively, including many on the left, like, they're like, holy shit, this is scary and bullshit. It's not really a big issue.
You're talking about the case against Trump.
I'm talking about the DeSantis sort of
said.
lack of comment on it, right?
Right.
Like, really? Like, you mean, like, to me, as a conservative, as a Republican, as someone who's been in those crosshairs, like, that's probably one of, like, the biggest issues we face as a country. You see Matt Taibbi, the guy who's the reporter who broke all the Twitter files about, you know, what happened during the election before. Like, yesterday, he testified before the weaponization of Congress committee, Jim Jordan and those guys. And, like, the day he does that, the IRS goes and raids his home. Like, we still think that's a coincidence. Like I don't believe in coincidence anymore. So if you can't call out, like, literally the weaponization of governmental institutions against your citizens, come on, guys.
So DeSantis has like big donors, like the former president's donors. Was that all just raised by like individuals?
Yeah,
and
well,
stuff?
no, you have big donors
there?
on all sides, but we did a big, you know, we had probably the greatest small dollar donor campaign in the history of America, right? You know, blue collar Americans, you know, like $33 average kind of donation, you know, and you can see, you just look up the stats, right? The people donating to the other side, you know, this guy's worth $9.12 billion. You know what? They want a president, when they call, picks up the damn phone. When they say jump, they jump because you need that check. You need that lifeline, right?
It's fucking crazy,
and so
man.
you see that, like, with the donor class, make no mistake, guys, like, the donor class, even in Republican, you know, sort of, they don't have the same viewpoint as, like, the blue collar sort of, let's call them MAGA Republicans, right? They're going to be tough on China, but, you know, not if it costs me an extra cent in my widget. You know what I mean? These sorts of things. There's a lot of hypocrisy there. So they know, you know, Trump doesn't really need them. Trump doesn't sort of look the same way. And, you know, DeSantis, who's a career politician, like, guess what? He needs that money. And guess what? He needs that money again to further the goal and again. And so he's got to act when they say jump, he says how high. And that's the nature of politics. It's why they went after Trump so hard, in my opinion, because they don't want other people who don't need them in power.
Of course.
Right? They don't want that. They want to show an example. Like, this is what happens. Like, you have a good life. You're a fucking billionaire. You can do whatever the hell you want. Like, do you really want this shit? Because we're coming after you too.
Well, that's
right. So when you see that weaponization and you're not willing to call it out, guess what? Like, they'll do it to him. If DeSantis ever becomes the guy, or any other Republican ever becomes the guy, like, it's easy when you're trying to pit someone against Trump, because they'll do whatever they can to help you so you can take out Trump. When you're the guy, that's a whole different world. That's a whole different story. And if that's the way you're going to handle it when they're doing it, you know, generally speaking, how are you going to do when you're in the big show?
Yeah, that's crazy, because he obviously is doing a good job with Florida and the way he handled COVID. I liked, but it is interesting now when I saw you say that, he just has a bunch of big donors and he might be sold to them.
Yeah, you know, when Paul Ryan's going out and endorsing, and, you know, Jeff Rowe comes and runs his super PAC, and Karl Rove is out there, like, really, like, you want another Bush administration? That's fine.
Because we don't want to go back to that either,
if you want the Bushes,
right?
you can have that. That's a great avenue for you. But, like, that's what it's been proven. You know, you can hire a bunch of influencers to clip, you know what I mean? Yeah. To clip you dunking on some local reporter and, like, make it go viral. Doesn't mean that's real. It's just that's the nature of that game.